There's a dangerous misconception circulating out there. This idea that you gotta punish yourself to achieve greatness. That you gotta embrace the grind at all costs. Wake up before the sun even thinks about rising. Push your body to its absolute limit day in and day out, and exist on a diet of energy drinks and willpower. That's not a path to success. That's a one-way ticket to Burnout City. And trust me, it's a lot easier to book a trip there than it is to find your way back. Here at Ultimate Goku Mindset, we're all about pushing limits and unlocking your full potential. But there's a smart way to do it, a sustainable way that doesn't leave you wrecked and broken. We're talking about discipline over deprivation, strategy over self-sabotage. The truth is, there's a fine line between motivation and self-destruction. And today, we're diving deep into the dark side of extreme motivation, exposing the potential harms of these hardcore techniques that leave you wondering, is this even worth it? Spoiler alert, it's not. Now, I'm all for discipline. I wake up early every day, not because I have to, but because I want to, because those extra hours are mine. But there's a difference between getting up early and running on fumes. Forcing yourself out of bed at 4 a.m. every day might sound hardcore, but it's a recipe for disaster. You're messing with your body's natural rhythm, disrupting its ability to recover and rebuild. Sleep is when your muscles repair themselves, when your brain consolidates memories, when your body releases essential hormones. It's not weakness, it's essential maintenance. Depriving yourself of sleep doesn't make you a machine, it makes you vulnerable. You're more likely to get sick, more prone to injury, and your decision-making goes out the window. Think of it like this. You wouldn't drive your car without ever stopping for gas, would you? You'd end up stranded on the side of the road, engine smoking, wondering what went wrong. Your body is the same way. You need to refuel, to recharge, to give it the rest it needs to operate at peak performance. Cutting sleep to cram in a few extra hours of work might seem like a good idea in the short term, but trust me, it's not sustainable. You'll hit a wall, and when you do, it'll be brutal. You'll be mentally fried, physically drained, and more likely to make mistakes that could cost you everything you've worked for. Listen, I get it. There's a certain allure to the "I'll sleep when I'm dead" mentality. But here's the thing. You can't perform at your best when you're dead tired. You can't make clear decisions. You can't lead effectively. And you sure as hell can't enjoy the fruits of your labor. So, what's the solution? Simple. Prioritize sleep. Figure out how much sleep your body needs to function optimally and make it non-negotiable. Stick to a consistent sleep schedule. Create a relaxing bedtime routine. And make sure your bedroom is conducive to quality sleep. Remember, discipline isn't about punishing yourself. It's about making smart choices that set you up for long-term success. And that includes getting enough sleep. Don't underestimate the power of a well-rested mind and body. Now let's talk about another myth that needs busting. The glorification of the 16-hour workday. This idea that you gotta be the first one in and the latest one out to get ahead. That you gotta grind yourself to the bone to achieve success. It's a recipe for burnout, plain and simple. Look, I'm all for hard work. I've built my entire life on it. But there's a difference between working hard and working smart. You can't sprint a marathon, and you can't sustain peak performance when you're running on empty. Pushing yourself for a short burst, a few long days to meet a deadline, that's one thing. But consistently grinding out 16-hour days, week after week, that's not sustainable. Your body and mind need time to recover, to recharge, to come back stronger. When you're constantly working, you're not giving yourself the space to think strategically, to come up with innovative solutions, to be truly present in other areas of your life. You become a slave to the grind, and your productivity actually suffers. Think about it. You're more likely to make mistakes when you're exhausted. You're less creative, less focused, and more likely to snap at your colleagues or loved ones. Is that really the kind of leader, the kind of person you want to be? Instead of measuring success by the number of hours you work, focus on the quality of your work. Prioritize your tasks, delegate when possible, and set clear boundaries between your work life and personal life. Remember, you are not a machine. You're a human being with limits. And pushing yourself past those limits doesn't make you a hero, it makes you a liability. It's about working smarter, not harder. Take breaks throughout the day. Move your body. Get outside. Connect with loved ones, These aren't distractions from your work. They're essential investments in your well-being and ultimately, your productivity. So, ditch the 16-hour workday delusion and embrace a more sustainable approach to success. One that values quality over quantity and recognizes that true productivity comes from a place of balance and well-being. Let's talk about another dangerous misconception in the pursuit of self-improvement: extreme diets. Now, I'm all for discipline and making healthy choices, but there's a dangerous line between fueling your body and punishing it. Crash diets, extreme fasting, cutting out entire food groups. These might seem like quick fixes, but they can wreak havoc on your body and mind. Your body needs a balanced intake of nutrients to function properly. When you deprive it of essential vitamins, minerals, and macronutrients, you're essentially running your engine on fumes. You might see some initial weight loss, but it's often short-lived and comes at a cost. You're more likely to experience fatigue, brain fog, mood swings, and nutrient deficiencies. Your metabolism can take a nosedive, making it harder to lose weight and keep it off in the long run. And let's not forget the potential damage to your relationship with food. Extreme diets often create a restrictive and unhealthy mindset around food. You start to view food as the enemy, something to be feared and controlled, rather than a source of nourishment and enjoyment. This can lead to a vicious cycle of yo-yo dieting, disordered eating patterns, and a damaged relationship with your body. Instead of falling prey to the allure of quick fixes and extreme measures, focus on building sustainable, healthy habits. Make gradual changes to your diet, incorporating more whole, unprocessed foods, and listening to your body's hunger and fullness cues. Find an eating pattern that nourishes your body and mind, and that you can sustain for the long haul. Remember, true health and well-being aren't about deprivation and punishment. They're about fueling your body with the nutrients it needs to thrive, both physically and mentally. Ditch the extreme diets and embrace a balanced approach to nutrition. One that prioritizes whole foods, mindful eating, and a healthy relationship with food. Now let's talk about pushing your physical limits. I'm all for challenging yourself in the gym, pushing past your comfort zone, and building a strong, resilient body. But there's a fine line between pushing your limits and pushing yourself to the breaking point. Intense training without adequate recovery is a recipe for disaster. It can lead to overtraining syndrome, a condition characterized by fatigue, decreased performance, increased risk of injury, and a weakened immune system. Your body needs time to repair and rebuild muscle tissue, replenish energy stores, and adapt to the stress of exercise. When you're constantly pushing without adequate rest, you're essentially running your body into the ground. You might think you're doing yourself a favor by training every day, pushing through pain and never taking a day off. But in reality, you're doing more harm than good. You're increasing your risk of injury, compromising your immune system, and setting yourself up for burnout. Listen to your body, pay attention to signs of overtraining, and prioritize recovery as much as you prioritize your workouts. Incorporate rest days into your training schedule, prioritize sleep, and fuel your body with the nutrients it needs to recover and rebuild. Remember, fitness is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about building a sustainable, healthy relationship with exercise. One that challenges you, pushes you, but also respects your body's limits. So, ditch the no pain, no gain mentality, and embrace a more balanced approach to training. one that prioritizes both intensity and recovery, and recognizes that true strength comes from listening to your body and training smart. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the dangers of sleep deprivation and extreme diets to the importance of rest and recovery. The key takeaway? Extreme motivation tactics might seem appealing, even hardcore, but they're often unsustainable and detrimental to your well-being. True success, lasting fulfillment, it doesn't come from punishing yourself. It comes from building sustainable habits, respecting your limits, and prioritizing your physical and mental health. It's about finding that sweet spot between discipline and self-care, pushing yourself while also knowing when to ease off the gas. What are your thoughts on extreme motivation? Have you ever fallen into the trap of these hardcore tactics? Share your experiences in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos on how to unlock your full potential the right way.